Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Our seminar is going to begin shortly. In 5 minutes, please have a nice seat. Thank you.
Surabaya adalah ibu kota Jawa Timur dan kota terbesar kedua di Indonesia. Surabaya saat ini menjadi kota metropolitan yang menjadi pusat perdagangan, industri, dan pendidikan. Di kota inilah pada 25 April 1986 berdiri Fakultas Kedokteran Universitas Wijaya Kusuma Surabaya. Saat ini FK Uwks telah berusia 37 tahun dan telah terakreditasi oleh LAM-PTKes atau Lembaga Akreditasi Mandiri Pendidikan Tinggi Kesehatan Indonesia. FK Uwks terletak di Jalan Dukuh Kupang 25 nomor 54 Surabaya. Dengan lokasi yang strategis, kampus kami mudah diakses dari berbagai tempat di kota Surabaya. Mahasiswa FK Uwks akan mendapatkan pengalaman belajar yang optimal untuk mempersiapkan mereka menjadi dokter yang berkualitas, berintegritas, dan berjiwa kewijaya kusumaan, yaitu dengan kepribadian 5T. Teguh, konsisten dan bertanggung jawab terhadap janji. Tetap, tidak mudah goyah keteguhannya. Tatak, tidak gentar menghadapi rintangan. Tanggon, dapat dipercayai, amanah. Trapsilo, berperilaku santun dan rendah hati. Sesuai dengan moto Universitas Wijaya Kusuma, yaitu Anggung Wimbuh Linuwih, yang bermakna selalu tumbuh berkembang lebih baik. FK Uwks telah menghasilkan 5.447 lulusan dokter yang tersebar di berbagai provinsi Indonesia dari Aceh hingga Papua, bahkan di mancanegara. Para lulusan ini telah menempati posisi-posisi penting di berbagai bidang, baik pemerintahan, swasta, maupun organisasi masyarakat. Tak hanya itu, Fakultas Kedokteran Universitas Wijaya Kusuma juga telah menjadi rumah bagi banyak mahasiswa dari dalam dan luar negeri. Universitas Wijaya Kusuma memiliki 3 tower 8 lantai sebagai fasilitas perkuliahan. Selain itu, kami juga memiliki auditorium yang biasa kami sebut Bangsal Poncowaliko. Ruang ini digunakan untuk acara-acara penting seperti kuliah umum, seminar-seminar, serta yudisium. Dalam mendukung perkuliahan kedokteran, kami memiliki ruang-ruang kelas perkuliahan auditorium dengan peralatan audiovisual LED screen. Didukung pula dengan laboratorium yang lengkap dan modern. Laboratorium ini antara lain adalah Laboratorium Sitogenetik, Laboratorium Molekuler, Laboratorium Sequencing, Laboratorium Forensik, Laboratorium PCR, Laboratorium Mikrobiologi, Laboratorium Faal, dan Laboratorium Hewan Coba. Untuk mendalami ilmu anatomi, Kami memiliki lab anatomi dan ruang manekin yang dilengkapi dengan peralatan medis modern. FK Uwks memiliki 3 manekin robotik. Yang pertama, manekin dewasa untuk peragaan pemeriksaan umum. Yang kedua, manekin untuk memperagakan pemeriksaan kehamilan sampai melahirkan. Dan yang ketiga adalah manekin bayi. Selain itu, kami juga memiliki ruang komputer CBT yang digunakan untuk mendukung pembelajaran dan penilaian di bidang kedokteran. FK UWKS memberikan pengalaman pendidikan yang unggul dan menitik beratkan pada pengembangan soft skills, kepemimpinan, dan integritas. Bergabunglah dengan FK UWKS dan jadilah dokter-dokter yang berdedikasi, peduli terhadap kesehatan dan kesembuhan masyarakat Indonesia.
Mari bergabung di FK UWKS.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya. Greetings for everyone here. First of all, I would like to greet the Honorable Professor Dr. Kuntaman, Dr. Magister Science, Specialist Microbiology Clinic Consultant, Dean of Faculty of Medicine, Universitas Wijaya Kusuma, Surabaya, along with Dr. Inawati, Magister Kesehatan, Deputy Dean for Finance Affairs. Our distinguished speaker for today, Dr. Tenzin Jamyang, Global Director, Kaplan Medical NYC, who is accompanied by Mr. Henki Marjuki, President, Director, Kaplan Edupak, and Mr. Gilang Dwi Respati, Kaplan Medical Representative. I would like to greet all of the lecturers and students of Faculty of Medicine's Universitas Wijaya Kusuma Surabaya, who are joining us today offline and online via Zoom. I am Olivia Herliani, your host for today. It's my greatest pleasure to welcome you to today's seminar, United States Medical Licensing Examination and Residency Options in the USA and What to Expect. The agenda for this seminar is opening session that will be followed by presentation session by Kaplan Medical and ended by closing ceremony. To formally start our event, please welcome our Honorable Dean, Professor Kuntaman, to give a welcome remark. Let's give a warm round of applause.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Special distinguished Mr. Tenzin, apologize, and Pak Engki and team from Kaplan. In this afternoon, we have a special lecture, not lecture in microbiology, pathology, no, but how the student and would be staff to get higher in academic competencies, especially in Faculty of Medicine. And in this room, we have some staff also, some students in both of offline and online. I hope that this seminar fruitful and can endorse all of my students and my staff to improve, increase their competencies, especially in medicine. And thank you again for Mr. Tenzin and team Kaplan from US can visit our campus in Surabaya. Hopefully we are in here and in offline, online also can follow the seminar and everything can be discussed in this room. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Professor Kuntaman, for the opening. Please stay in front of the stage. I was told that our representative Kaplan Medical would like to give something to our dean. Dr. Idnawati also would like to give something. Please come forward. Next, please allow me to introduce our moderator who is going to guide us through our main agenda today. The presentation session will be moderated by our moderator, Dr. Pratika Yuhi Hernanda, Magister Science, PhD. Allow me to read her short bio. Dr. Pratika Yuhi Hernanda, Magister Science, PhD, is one of the lecturers in Medical Genetic Department. Currently, she serves as the person in charge of the elective block in the medical education curriculum. She is also active in the research and community service unit and other units in Faculty of Medicine Universitas Wijaya Kusuma, Surabaya. She pursued her doctoral degree at Erasmus University, Rotterdam, majoring in genetic epidemiology and gastroenterology. Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome our moderator, Dr. Pratika Yuhi Hernanda, Magister Science, PhD.
Thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable Dean, Professor Kuntaman, and the Vice Dean, Dr. Inawati, and the Honorable guest speaker, our guest speaker today, Dr. Tenzin Jamyang, and the team. Yeah, we would like to appreciate you for taking this time to join our event today in your busy schedule. My name is Pratika. It's my pleasure to be here as a moderator in this event. And our theme today is USMLE and residency option in the USA and what to expect. Yeah, and it's my pleasure to to introduce you to our honorable guest speaker today, Dr. Tenzin Jamyang. He is the global director of Kaplan Medical from the United States of America. And please give me time to read his curriculum vitae. Dr. Tenzin Jamyang is a seasoned leader and able professional with demonstrated history of working in medical education. He is the global director and a faculty for Kaplan Medical for 18 years. His medical specialty is burns and plastic surgery and has worked in NYU Langone. I'm not sure it is the right word or not. Langone University before Kaplan Medical. Dr. Tenzin is a subject matter expert on the USMLE and a strategist on the medical residency process. He is a well-known educator and has mentored thousands of students from all over the world who have successfully obtained residency in the United States. He was international medical graduate himself and hence best understands the strengths and weaknesses of international physicians. Topics covering medical residency process in the United States, test-taking strategies for MCQs, match data of international doctors in the US, and how to make your candidacy stand out during residency selection, research opportunity led in the US, and Q and answer. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, please let's give our warm welcome to the Dr. Tenzin Jamyang. Please come forward. So make sure that you stay here until the end of the event.
Thank you very much. Selamat siang. That is all I know in Indonesia. It is a privilege to be here in front of you. It is an honor to meet Mr. Dr. Dean, Dr. Weinstein, and the remaining faculty members that I had the opportunity of meeting earlier before we came here. So when I entered the main auditorium, I saw empty seats. Then I was like, where are the people? Then I was told that it's more population out there, you watching it from your home and your residence, because I was told that you are having a vacation for 10 few days. Now I know, being a student in your shoes at one point of time, if you are running out of your vacation time, have the best fun that you can have right now. Okay? But back then, when you start your when you start your medical school, that is a serious business. Earlier, when Dr. Dean was talking and commenting on the introductory speech, so was the others, and Dr. Pratik also towards the end. I thought, oh my God, how are I going to tackle this? Because all of them are very soft spoken. And then all of a sudden comes Dr. Tenzin from New York. He will be shouting out because he's going to be not like anybody else. But it is an honor again, once again. I thank you all for the warm reception. And UWK, I was aware of and did a little bit of research by the help of my colleague, Mr. Henke and Gilang, and then knew a little bit about university systems, medical education systems in Indonesia and the other parts of the world as well. So first of all, before we embark upon the main presentation, I would like to tell each and every medical students that you ought to be lucky and you should feel lucky that you are in UWK. Because irrespective of UWK or not, you should be happy that you were the fighter that got into medical school. There are hundreds and thousands of your friends and colleagues and neighbors who did not get into medical school. So you should feel proud about that. So I'd like to, kind of congratulate you at least for being in the medical school. Did you realize, and just keep your eyes closed for a few seconds, take yourself into that day that you got the news that you got admitted into a medical school. Just for a few seconds. Did you have a lot of fun? Did you enjoy? Did you celebrate? Did you see the happiness in your parents' face? You do, or you did not. Some of you guys like, not really. But yes, that is the first jubilation or ceremonial happiness that you had in front of your parentals. But now, the next happiness that you could give to your parents and yourself is to graduate successfully from your medical school. Okay? And the third happiness is only for you and yourself. How strong and holistic physician or surgeon have you become? Or did you just graduate medicine and got a degree without even knowing the concepts properly? That being said, my name is Dr. Tenzin. Just like Dr. Pragatika said, I am an international medical graduate, just like you all will be at one point of time or are right now. So we'll be talking about the processes of getting residency or working experiences in the United States. Now, I also like to thank the management and the dean, sir, to provide you this platform to bring in, somebody expert in US, kind of a medical health. Because I've been through universities who are shut their doors for external exposures. University like yours at UWKS is kind of liberal enough to allow you guys to be aware of what is beyond the small pond of Surabaya. There are a lot of things that you may know or may not know, and this is me as one single person as a subject matter expert on USMLE and US residency. But later on, definitely, and before me also, you must have had opportunities of having exposure to medical health system or medical health system in UK, Australia, or any parts of the world as well. So without further much ado, let us start talking about the medical residency pathway. Now, if you are interested to pursue your dreams in medical career or doing your medical residency in the United States, so let's try to understand what the process entails. Let us presume that this is you. I know some of the guys are looking at this picture and say, like, well, that is not me. That is a woman. But say, for example, for a few seconds that this is you. You have to register with ECFMG. It's an organization which partakes and controls and oversees all the foreign medical graduates. You have to register with them and tell them all the details that you graduated from UWK from this year to this year to this year to this year. You fill up the form and send it to ECFMG. Now, ECFMG, once they receive your application, they will not believe and trust you. They will not believe you. So, what they're going to do is they're going to send all your details over to your medical school, that is UWK. And then administration team in UWK is going to look at it and authenticate by saying, Dr. Vincent, whatever he said is totally tallying with our information here. So good to go. We have verified him. So once that verification takes place, then the ECFMG will send an email to you by saying, congratulations, you have been authenticated, you have passed the process, now you're registered with ECFMG. Now, once you are registered with ECFMG, what does it mean? It now means that you are now eligible to take the USMLE exams. Now, what exams? We're talking about step 1, step 2 CK, and OET. Once you finish taking these exams, then what you will do is you will start sending applications through an electronic portal called the ERAS. You don't have to worry about memorizing this. It is just an electronic platform that you send just like you did for ECFMG. And then through this ERAS system, you're going to send applications to all the programs in different states, right? Then once the programs receive your applications that you chose, then they will start to scrutinize and filter. Once they filtered and decide that you are a beautiful candidate or an attractive candidate, then they will start calling you for interviews. Now, once they have interviews at the hospital programs, then you begin your residency. Now, residency is for 3 years for medical residencies and 5 years for surgical residencies. Okay? And then finally, you have the Federation of State Medical Boards to partake into your step 3 exams. We'll talk more into depth. I know this is just a formal blueprint of how your journey is going to look like in the long term. Okay. Now let's break it down into quick snapshot, recall. What do? You take the step 1, step 2 CK, and the OET exam. Now, mind you, you can take these 3 exams in any order you want to. You can take these 3 exams in any part of the world because it's computer based. You can take it any day of the year so long it's not closed or is a national holiday in the prometric centers. Now, once you finish these 3 exams, as I told you earlier, this will give you the ECFMG certificate. Once you finish getting the certificate, now comes the time that you will send the applications, just like I said, through the ERAS. Now, this is different because this is going to give you a timeline. Starting from June and up until September, oops. So you see that up until September, the application will not be active. September 15th onwards, when you press the enter button, all your applications that you chose will go and fly off. Okay? And then from October to January, you should be receiving beautiful emails for invitations for interviews. Now, after the interviews are over, if I liked you after the interview and I select you, then you will start getting a beautiful email which says, congratulations, you did match into a residency program. And then starting from July, you will start your residency program. But some of the programs, they start their orientations even by second half of June. All right. Now, let's talk about the USMLE exam. Because as Sun Tzu said, I'm pretty sure that you might be aware of who is Sun Tzu. Anybody? It's like, no, don't ask me this question. Sun Tzu was a very famous army general in the Qing dynasty many, many decades ago. He was such a ferocious but successful army general of that dynasty that people feared him. Okay? He and his quotes, there are many multiple ones. He has a book, The Art of War. His book is even translated and read and practiced by many army generals in this date and age. That's how relevant he was. And out of many, many quotes, one of the one which relates to me in my day-to-day life is, and I share, and I quote, if you know your enemy and if you know yourself, to every battle that you go, you will come out victorious. And he continues, and I quote, if you know yourself, but do not know your enemy, to every battle that you lead, there's a 50-50 chance of winning and losing. And he concludes, and I quote, if you do not know yourself, and if you do not know the enemy, to any battle that you lead to, there's bound to be loss, no victory at all. Now, you guys might be thinking, like, what does Sun Tzu got to do with my USMLE test? Nothing. But there's a correlation, and there's an analogy that I want to drive from that quote to this. Because USMLE is not a one step exam, it is a couple of steps. So if you were to take a fight with Mike Tyson, just on a lighter note, what would you do? You will say you'll go to the gym, train hard, pull up weights, be bulky, right? That's one piece of it. But the other piece is if you do not study and watch Mike Tyson's earlier past fights, then you are making a big mistake that you might go into the ring within the first couple of seconds of start, he might just knock you down. So, which means it's not only about you getting ready and training hard, but also trying to understand how your enemy punches so that you can defend and deflect. So, in this case, what we are talking about is if we do not understand our enemy, in this case, is the step exams, how they throw tricks at you, how they, give complex scenarios. And then knowing yourself is how strong did you study and how strong is your concept. All right? Good. So let's now move on to understanding each and every enemy. Enemy number one, in this case, but don't treat him as the enemy. I'm just giving an example. Step 1 exam comprises of all the basic science subjects that you studied in the first year couple of years. The exam for USMLE is for 8 hours and there will be 7 blocks. This exam is graded as a pass and fail recently in 2022. On the other side, step 2 CK is your clinical knowledge. The clinical subjects like internal medicine, pediatrics, OB-GYN, surgery, and psychiatry are going to be tested. This is a 9 hours exam for 8 blocks, and the minimum passing score is 214. But when we are interested for USMLE residencies in the United States, 214 is nothing. It's the ugliest score that you can get. If you are applying or thinking of joining residencies like radiology, dermatology, burns and plastic surgery, OBGYN, neurosurgery, radiology, ENT, and the likes, then we are not even talking about 240s. We are talking about 250 plus scores because these are the super competitive, we don't call it impossible competitive, but we call it competitive specialties, right? But if you are interested in internal medicine, family medicine, pediatrics, psychiatry, and the likes, then you should be having to aim at least about 230s. Because below that, you pass, but you'll not even be called for interview. Okay? So in our preparation for USMLE, you have to think about scoring the highest and being the supermodel that you will be called for interview and you should be getting the interviews and getting into match. All right, now let's move on. The third part is going to be OET, Occupational English Test. Now, what does it mean? It means very similar to the cousin brother and cousin sister of the TOEFL and the IELTS, right? Anybody has taken TOEFL and IELTS? Practiced, played around? You did, right? You did? What's your name? Unicia. Eh? TCA. TCA. So TCA has taken the TOEFL or the IELTS test. So we know that TOEFL and IELTS has 4 sections: listening, reading, writing, and speaking, right? Now she would know because I also am a kind of a strange person. So after many years of working with international students, the doctors used to tell me that TOEFL is really tough. Then I was like, why is tough? English is English. So I had free time one day during summer and I started taking the exam. And I thought like, I don't have to prepare. I can do it. So trust me, I barely passed. Just passed. Then I started respecting TOEFL and IELTS. Ooh. The funny thing is, it is not about whether you know English or not. It is about how they trick you. For example, Teresa would know, and other people who have practiced and tried the TOEFL test, for example, during the listening section, they will talk about any topic under the sky. You don't know. You cannot expect. They can talk about Jurassic Park. They will talk to you about scuba diving. They will talk to you about trekking in Bali. They will talk to you about, anything. And then, after a certain part of listening at 10 minutes, then they will be this. When the author said this, what did he mean? I was like, wait a minute, I don't even know what he's talking about. How am I supposed to know what he means? But in OET, the magic door is the word O, which is, She was like, what is O? Oh, where? What is O? Occupation. What is your occupation? Doctors. So now in OET, when you're listening, you will not be listening about scuba diving or anything else. You'll be listening to your occupation related conversation, which could be a conversation between a doctor and a patient. And then they will ask you, when the doctor said this, what other differential diagnosis could be. That could be similar kind of platform. So OET Indonesian students, un, dos, tres, within 1, 2, 3 weeks, I think you'll be able to take it. There are, however, my students that I know, who studies for OET for 1.5, 2 years also. Students from Japan, Latin America, Korea, Russia, who doesn't speak English, who has difficulty in English, their biggest and most dangerous exam is the OET, not the step 1 and 2. So at least for you guys, it's like, Mm-hmm. OET easily done, right? So you have to concentrate upon step 1 and 2. All right. Last not the least is the step 3 exam. Step 3 exam is the same clinical subjects that is going to be tested or was tested during your step 2 CK. All right. But now the question is, why am I tested these subjects again? Because step 3 is not required. Oops. Step 3 is not required for you to get into residency. Not required. But if you can, it will be better attractive if you have step 3. Because the step 3 is mainly designed for you to practice medicine after your medical residency training. Now you know your enemies. When you are fighting step 1, that is Mike Tyson, you have to fight and think differently. When you're fighting step 2 CK, you have to think and train differently, as you would see here. Now let's have fun. UWK was told that they have the best students and smartest students. So I have some of your colleagues here in the auditorium. I will be asking them questions here because you guys are lucky because you are watching from your home. I cannot see you. All right, let's talk about the sample step 1 question. All right, ready? Which year are you guys in? Which year? Which year are you in? You were last year. Okay. How about you? This group, same thing? Or you just began yesterday? Which year are you in? No English? Hmm? Oh, staff member. Okay, fine. Then say so. All right. Ready for the question? All right. What is the diagnosis? Come on. You're about to graduate and leave this. Tuberculosis. Dang. What's her name? Julitis? Johannes. Good. Congratulations, Johannes. That is TB. But don't be too happy because this is so easy a question. Even the staff members who are not medical doctors, they would know. They also said it's TB, right? And this is not a USMLE question. But good job. But wah, wah, wah. What about this now? What causes TB? Hmm? Mycobacterium TB. Great job. Even they know this, right? Staff members like, yeah, myco TB, TB, myco TB, yeah. So easy. Not a USMLE question. How about this? Oops. What are the characteristic of myco TB? Come on, thinky, say anything. You could be right, you could be wrong. That's fine. That's not the main game. Acid fast, good. What else? What else? Thinky, saying. Huh? What else? Gram positive, negative. Yeah, what else? What else? Z Nielsen. Okay, what else? What else? What else? Huh? Good. I didn't hear it, but yes. Okay, whatever you said. What else? What else? Think. That's good. That's good. That's what I wanted you to regurgitate. Recall. What else? Okay, ran out of idea now. Good. And that's exactly what I'm trying to do here. I know some of you guys, including you guys watching from home, you are saying, show us the option. I know you guys are saying that. You're thinking that. You are thinking that too. I purposely did not show you the options for one reason, because that's a wrong style for studying MCQs. I know what you do till date and maybe later on because of your habits. When you see an MCQ, you will look at the choice and then you will go reverse engineering. A. A. No, not A. B. B. B, not B. C. Maybe. Right? You have all the time in your world, in your present life. When you are talking about USMLE exam, you saw that it's an 8 hours exam, 7 blocks, which means each question, if you cross more than 1 minute and 16 seconds, you are cannibalizing on your subsequent questions time. So if you don't work and move faster, you will be having a warning of 5 minutes left. You will have 15, 20 questions left. Then you will start dashing and you will fall down for sure. All right, whatever have you recalled? Now let's open this lead by saying, what are the options? Whatever you say will magically disappear, even though they may be right. They will not be here because they know that you know those easy stuffs. Now, what's the question? What's the answer? A, B, C, D. What is the answer? What is the answer? I mean, I hate whenever I visit the places and institutions and I'm being told to stand up in the podium. They don't have this kind of mic or the collar mic. I like to move around. And when I move around, the students get hell scared by saying, "Don't come near me. Get away from me." And they will try to look at me first, but when I start walking towards them, they will look like, all right, what is the answer? A, B, C, or D? Huh? Who said that? See, this is one of the traits of Southeast Asian students. What is the answer? In a group of people, who said that? Is he looking at me? Go on. All right. The answer is D. Answer is D. All right. Who said D? See, I know. You didn't say that. This is exactly one of the characters also. What's the answer? Nobody was like, "Hmm." When I said like, it's D. See, I told you, I told you, I told you. All right, the answer is D. But again, it doesn't matter whether you got it right or wrong right now because it's not exam time. But the part that I wanted to talk about and the takeaway message here is step one. This is a typical example of triple jump question. For you to answer the question, you have to know the diagnosis. Second step is you need to know the causative organism. And then only comes the bang, the last minute question. And firstly, and secondly, step one questions are not made by MDs. Who are they made by? Who makes the step one questions, if not by the doctors, medical doctors? Hmm? Nurses? No. Who else? Dr. Pratika's friends, the PhDs. The PhDs are the majority stakeholders in creating the step one questions. Uh, Now you know how tricky and deeply rooted they ask you questions. The PhDs never leave it to you superficially. They will presume that you ought to know this, but they will dig about of 1 feet down and then say, like, let's see whether you know that or not. So now you know that step one is being created and made by the PhDs. You have to wear your hat and think like PhDs and not leave it at the superficial level. So that's when I said, like, know your enemy is one part, this one as well. Good job. Now let's move on to the same question, same case, but step 2CK. I'll keep the same case for your time purpose. The question changes. What is the most sensitive test for TB? And that goes for you guys at home too. Come on, answer, answer. I know that I cannot hear you, but you're talking to yourselves. Again, the same thing. I'm not going to show you the options. You also cover the options when you see that in your day-to-day life. And then let your recall memory flow and regurgitate. Most sensitive test. Come on. What? You envy me? AFB. Okay, what? AFB, okay. All right, let's say AFB, ABC. All right. All right, what now? You are happy to see Mr. AFB there at least. Right? Good. What's the answer? A, B, C, D, E, F. Are the Zoom attendees having chat access or not? All right, so you guys go in the chat box and type in A, B, C, D, or E. All right, I cannot see your answer, that's fine. What is the answer? Most sensitive test. Simple. What is your favorite word? A, B, C, D, or E? Eh? Sputum culture. Woo. Ooh. Uh-uh. I did not do it. Oh, okay. Oh, all right. B, 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 D, D, D. That is D. Okay, Mentari, you had the audacity and powers. That is D. All right, let's see whether it's A or D. Good. All right, let's wrap it up. Yes, Bentari, you got it right. That is D. Sputum culture. Good job. All right, Bentari Dewey. Good job. But again, the key word here is I was being Dr. Nice. I was being Dr. Nice because I boldened the word the most sensitive. But in the main exam, they're not going to be as nice as me. Okay? They're just going to, what's the condition? Then you will make mistakes. Now, if I change this word most sensitive to what do you do first test, answer changes. What if I change this word most sensitive to most accurate test, the answer changes. Is this a case of an active TB or a latent TB? Let me hear Bentari. Come on. Now you got it right. I'm going to put you under trouble. All right. Is this active or a latent TB? Active. Good. Now, if I change this person into a latent case, what changes the answer? C. Good. Interferon gamma release assay. Now, I'll tell you about a story. I was in Latin America once, and I asked this question to a group of students. Nobody was raising their hands, and they were like, "No, don't come near me. Don't look at me." So I just put the mic in front of one student's face. It was Jose. Then I said, "Jose, what's the answer?" Then he looked at it. And I was like, C. I said, like, why? Well, it's the longest answer. And then I've never heard of this name before. So, but again, he could be right sometimes in rare cases, but generally not. But again, good job. Sputum culture is the correct answer. Let's moving on. Let's talk about OET. We already talked about it. Let's not talk about it because you will easily study there and then pass easily for this. Last step is going to be the step 3. And then I will keep the same patient, just like we did. But the question changes again. What will you tell the patient after he leaves your office or clinic or ward or emergency room? I'm not so accustomed to the healthcare system in Indonesia because every country has the different norms. US also has different norms. So generally speaking, when you don't go to a doctor, when you leave, what does the doctor say? Forget about this question. Generally, you must have gone to visit a doctor at one point of time, right? So what do they say? If they give you some medications or not medications, what's the last word they say? Huh? What? Take voice? Take rice? Yeah, Indonesians love rice. Take rice. We are having fever? Eat rice. Having diarrhea? Eat rice. Having headache? Rest. Okay, fine, have rest. Okay, that's different because I thought like, well, I heard about it, but now you spoke about it. All right. Generally speaking, what would you say depends from country to country, culture to culture? I was in one country, I'm not going to name that, and I asked a person, I said, sure, me. I was like, what is the answer? What would you tell? It's like, it was nice meeting you. See you soon. I was like, okay, maybe there's a choice here. No, there's no choice here like that. So, what would you talk about? Drug induced lupus, increased seizures, pale colored stools, or renal failure? All right, I'm torturing you, I know. And it's like, oh my God, we are having holiday and then you are just making us work and study. That's fine. All right. The answer is increased seizures. Oh. Now, what are they testing you? You remember, this is a step 3 exam. So, step 3 exam is equivalent to step 2 CK 5 subjects. But now the difference here is, like I said, if you're fighting Manny Pacquiao, you have to train to fight Manny Pacquiao. If you're fighting Mike Tyson, you have to train to fight Mike Tyson. So you have to know your enemy. So this part, step 3, your enemy is for licensing. You practice, right? So you have to think like somebody who has a license to practice medicine. If you make a mistake having a license in the United States, your license will be gone, which means you'll be jobless. So this is how important and dangerous it is in the United States. So if you did not advise the patient or tell the patient before he leaves your clinic, and then somehow he or she has more seizures, he or she could sue you. And this is really high. $20 million every year in malpractice lawsuits in the US. And this is where it will or might come from you guys if you really do not pay attention. So you will need to talk about what? Here, when you say chances of seizures, why? Why are they having chances of seizures? Or why they may have increased seizure chances? What medicine is he taking, first of all? What medicine? Phenytoin. And what? Good. He's taking rifampicin, isoniazid, pyrazinamide, and ethambutol. Right? 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 Look at me. I'm talking to you. Yeah. Don't try to ignore me. Yeah. What's your name? Ines. Yeah. Don't try to say, yeah, I know you. I'm seeing it, but don't. No. Now we're talking. Okay. Ines, you are taking RIPE, anti-TB drugs. This patient. Yes. Okay. And he's also taking phenytoin. Yes. Good. Now, what is the drug interaction between phenytoin and which of the drugs of RIPE? Or is it all of them? Ines is like, oh God, I should not have come here. He's like, God, oh my God, I should have called out sick. Now, if the camera can be zoomed on Ines, please, you will see how embarrassed she is. Right? Ines like, oh my God, why did you take my picture? See? Right? Now you see. All right. We are now asking a question about drug interactions. He is taking TB drugs, rifampicin, isoniazid, pyrazinamide, ethambutol, and he is also taking phenytoin to control seizures. The question that they're asking indirectly is, do you know the drug interactions? Now, what drug is interacting with phenytoin? Because of which, what happens is they reduce the potency of phenytoin. What is the job of a phenytoin in this case? To reduce the seizures. But if phenytoin itself, its potency gets reduced, then chances of seizure becomes higher. So now, do you know this concept? That is what they're going to test you on that. And secondly, like I mentioned, if you don't warn your patients about it, because that's simply you don't know it or you forgot it, it does not matter. They will sue you. Okay? Good job. All right. Let's move further. Now, no more questions. Happy, Inez? Good? It's like, okay. Now, the average preparation time for USMLE studies, the real answer is I don't know, because I do not know who you are, which level of studies you are in, how good or bad you are, what are your weaknesses and strengths. But on an average, any international doctors would require 9 to 12 months to prepare for step 1 exams to build up a strong base. Then step 2 CK, which is your clinicals, is going to be taking around 6 to 9 months as an international medical graduates, okay? I'm not talking about students. Graduate is like you graduated yesterday, but even then, when you start talking about anatomy, you studied about 6, 7 years ago. So that's why it takes a long time, right? And then OET, just like I said, is under 1 month for Indonesian students. And then step 3, approximately about 3 to 4 months. Okay. Now let's talk about, all right, Dr. Tenzin, I'm interested to go to the United States. So how do I get the interviews? That's the right question to ask. Instead of saying, how do I get residencies? You would rather want to ask, how do I get interviews? Because without interviews, there's no direct way of getting matched into residency. Okay, let's talk about it. How do I get residency? We knew the first couple of slides that your application starts from September mid. Now, if you see here and pay attention, by end of October, they have already sent more than 60% of invitations for interviews, the programs, which means Inez could be spectacularly beautiful with all the step results. She has everything under her nose, but she sends her application in November because she was waiting for a pending result of step 2 CK at one point of time. Anything. Now, her chances of getting interview calls gets dimmer and dimmer and dimmer as you see it. Right? So you may be spectacular a candidate, but if you miss the train of sending applications and cross the more time into October and November, December, then even though you are attractive, the chances gets reduced. So be careful about timing. All right, now what are they looking for? Let's say when you send an application, I have 15 positions in my program, and me being the program director, I cannot call all the 1,500 applicants. So I'm going to ask my coordinator, Jennifer, I was like, Jennifer, let's do the chop chop, meaning screening. Let's kick them out. I'm going to say the first ever thing that I'm going to do, or most of the program directors and admissions council is going to do, is obviously the scores. So I'm going to tell Jennifer, whoever scored less than 240 in step 1, kick them out. Boom, done. Out of 1,500 applications, only 1,000 left. I'm going to say the same thing, step 2 CK, whoever scored less than this, chop them out. Boom, goes down. 700 left. You get the idea, right? And I'll tell her, like, whoever has failed the USMLE exam once, chop them out. Boom, it goes down to 500 now. Still too much. Now I was like, whoever has graduated more than 5 years from the medical school, kick them out. Boom, goes down 300. I still don't have time for 300 people to call. I was like, okay, whoever has a research and publication, keep them, otherwise kick them out. Boom, only 100 left. Oh, that's too much. Okay, let's put them back. Let's put them back, right? Otherwise, I'll be losing a lot of golden candidates, the Manchurian candidates. Then what happens? Like, okay, anybody who has got any extraordinary skills, right? Research and publications, keep them in, otherwise kick them out. Boom. Okay, 125. That is a decent amount of people that I can interview and my team can handle. So that's how it is going to be selected. Are you done? Okay. All right. Now let's talk about application package. When we talk about application package, it's like playing V. Okay. Now, when we're talking about application package, what are we talking about? We're talking about US clinical experiences. You may be spectacular with all the results, but you are preferably needing to have US clinical experiences. Letters of recommendations which are strong, personal statements, research publications, personal achievements and awards, and life experiences. So, all these things come under as a whole package when we are talking about the application package. Okay? And then finally, based upon the first cut and the second cut, then you will be starting to receive the interview calls. Then, obviously, when you receive the interview calls, you're in the grand finale. It does not mean that Inez is going to get into match. Now it is the last match result that she has to impress me by 10 or 15 minutes. Inez, what specialty would you like to choose? It's like, oh no, why me? Huh? Which specialty? Hmm? Oh, you're not a doctor. Just act you're a doctor. What specialty? Pediatrics? All right. Whatever subject, right? She wants to do OBGYN or pediatrics or whatever. Now, I will ask you tough questions because everybody, I have only selected only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's say 7 candidates I called. I only have 2 seats. Now, I selected you because you are the best of the hundreds, but I need to choose only 2 of you. So I need to ask each and every one tough questions. That happens. The most difficult question is, why should I choose you over the rest of them? That's normal, not only for medical residency, but even if you apply for a job in Starbucks, they will say that. Be ready. By the way, the most common question that anyone under the sky, even if you look for a housekeeping job, is tell me about yourself. So easy, yet the most difficult question in the world. All right. So obviously the interviews will be there. Be ready for that. That's going to be down in the lane. So let's talk about how can I study best? The answer again is I don't know because I don't know you. I don't know which level you are in. But if I say that, you will hate me. So I'll just give you the 3 broad classifications or stages of study: review, remediation, and practice phase. This is not only for USMLE, but designed specifically for the USMLE studies, but it incorporates also for your day to day medical school life and schedule as well. I do not know your school curriculum in length, but try to see if this works because generally works in most of the places that I talk to with medical students and colleges and deans. Review phase mainly means about knowing the subject and topics that are being taught each and every day. I know I write Kaplan this and that, but you can incorporate it as what is suitable for you and twist that, right? But if you're studying for USMLE, then obviously this is as is. But review phase is what you are learning from day to day activities every day, every week, every month when you're medical school years. Next is the remediation phase. Remediation phase is you did your hard work yourself. Because understand this, the teachers, the professors, the faculty members, and only feed you information. Whether you eat and can be digested or not digested is totally up to your guts, meaning brains. They can only do so much. But if you do not exert the remaining 80% of the walk forward, then whatever knowledge that you are gained from the faculty members through the expertise and experience just goes down the drain. So do not blame your faculty members by saying, oh, my university sucks or my faculty member is not good. Because ultimately, I used to be one of that at one point of time when I was initially going to medical school. I used to complain to my dad and say, like, why are you weak in biochemistry? Why are you weak in this? Like, yeah, professor is not good. Then he told me one thing and he sat down with me and said, like, listen, if you are blaming other people because you are weak in that subject, that means you'll always blame other people throughout life, not only in your profession, but in life. So learn to respect the other person. He or she is doing her best. Forget about he knows or doesn't know, but he or she is trying her best, but you are not able to reach to that level that he or she lacks. So fill that gap, and then you'll be the best friend with that subject or the faculty member. right? So this is the remediation phase. And last phase is now you already built up your foundation yourself. You are being helped by the faculty members during the remediation phase by asking any doubtful questions that you had that you were not so clear. They were able to clarify it during the remediation. And now that you are somewhere about to get enlightened, right? You're about to gain moksha. You're about to gain Om Nirvana, right? And that is the time that you'll be eating, sleeping, walking, talking, doing, and even sleepwalking questions, questions, questions. And that is the time that you will know how good, how bad, or how ugly you are. Okay? All right. Now let's move on to the next topic. This is continuation of that. I'm not going to go depth into it because I covered most of it. Now let's look at this. Residency match data. Now, one of the biggest fear is the fear of the unknowns as a human being, right? Psychologically, if I were to tell you that, oh, you need to go to a country that you have never been before and live there for 1 year, then you'll be like, oh, I don't know how it's going to be because I don't know. Unknown, right? Unknown fear is the most universal fear in the world. So when I tell you, like, oh, you're thinking of a US, Emily, then you have to go and do a residency in the US, it's like, first of all, I don't know whether I'm going to get it or not, right? What are my chances? That's the biggest fear, right? So let's look at the data here. US needs international medical graduates. What does IMG stand for, by the way? Huh? Indonesian medical graduates. It's kind of funny that at least like Indonesians are not that, you know, staunch. I was in India last year and I asked the students, like, what does IMG stand for? Everybody is like, Indian medical graduate. For Indians, all the eyes are Indians, okay, or India. So I thought, like, what is Indonesians? I thought, like, they will say Indonesian medical graduates. But no, it's international medical graduates. All right, when you look at the data of 2011 all the way up to the latest match of 2023, there's not even a single year where the number of residencies dropped. And I can predict and I can tell you and I can easily tell you the numbers are never going to go down. They will always go up. Even in the next coming match of 2024, they will also go up. I can assure you that. Now let's have another look at what I mean by you have a great chance of getting match. This is the latest match, 2023. Now look at the left, certified applicants. 43,000, I'm rounding up the numbers, 43,000 people applied for residency. Now, out of 43,000, literally about 40,000 people got matched. Now, what does it mean? Good news or bad news? Good, great news, right? Which means only 3,000 people did not get matched. That's one way of looking at how positive and optimist you have to be versus how negative and pessimist, like, yeah, but I'm not going to get because I know the exam is so tough. I don't have a chance. This is a number. I can lie. You could lie because you're a human being and I. But numbers don't lie. Data don't lie. Statistics don't lie. So I'm just giving you the statistics that is right in front of you. Which means every third person who sits for exams, so long you study hard, is going to be matched. Number two, I was told, like in some countries, when you do your residency in your country, I was told in Indonesia that you have to pay the hospital for letting you do the residency, right? In the United States, if you get a residency, how much do you have to pay? Huh? 1,000, 2,000 per month? How many? You don't have to pay anything when you get your residency. But will you get paid? You're like, I don't know, but we would like to be paid, sir. Because we were not paid, but we have to pay the programs while we were in Indonesia. So we would like to have a reversed gear. Yes, once you get selected for residency in the United States, you have to pay $0 to the programs, but you will get a stipend, which means pocket money of around 65 to 75,000 a year. And I'm not talking about Indonesian rupiah. 65 to 75,000 US dollar as a pocket money. The first time I landed up in Indonesia and I was hanging out with my friend Henki, and I went to buy something. Then I said, "How much?" And it's like some million. I was like, "What?" I was like, "But rupiah, right?" Then you have to convert. It's like, "Oh, it's cheap." Now I know some of you guys, and obviously you at home must be taking out your calculators. Like, let me calculate how much is it. That is a stipend because you are doing your residency training. Once you get into residency and finish it, and $50,000 a year. It was like, what? I want to go to the US right now. But again, $250 is the signing rate, day one. Obviously, you'll be making more because you'll be not working only in one facility, but many more places. Now, if he doesn't want to make money, but if he wants to be a GI specialist or cardiologist or do his fellowship, then his 65 to 75,000 as a stipend will be bumped up by 2 or 3,000 only because you are still under training. Okay, good. But if you've become cardiologist and later on sign a job, then instead of 250, you'll be getting 350 to begin with. And it's like, yeah, I want the bigger one, huh? Good. All right. Anyways, let's look at next one. I know that I am short of time right now with my. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, depending upon what specialty you want to do, this is your.
Excuse me, Dr. Tenzin, 5 minutes more.
Huh?
5 minutes more.
Yeah, I'm done.
Thank you.
Thank God. Because I know that I normally, Dr. Pradika is nice to say that, but normally my agents would say, you talk too much. That's why I cut so many slides today. All right, this is the money, rupiah that you're going to make after your hard work and time that you spent. I know. I am pretty sure that you guys, this is the slide that you got really active, took out your phone and took screenshots of it. Yeah, you did? I knew. But again, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not showing this slide to show you the greed of money. Whether you like it or not, this is yours because you earned it. You worked hard for it. You sacrificed a lot of your love, time, and your families. So you deserve it, whether you need it or not. If you don't need it, then call me, I'll keep it for you. But if you need it, that's also fine. Okay? Now, that being said, I will just thank you for all the time that you had. We're not going to talk much about this. And lastly, before I end, and I'd like to share a quote from Thomas Jefferson, who was the founding father and the president of the United States. And I'd like to conclude this talk by this quote, and I quote: if you want something in your life you never had, if you want something in your life you never had, then you will have to do something that you have never done before. Very profound, but very relevant. If you want the best of the world, but not work for it, but dream about it, then you will ever remain the same and even get more frustrating down the lane when you grow older. You will start seeing the wrinkles. Just like you see physical wrinkles, your brains are also wrinkled, right? So before that happens, work hard and study hard. It is just about the right time that you should make thinking by saying, if today was bad, instead of getting depressed and dejected, say to yourself, it could have been worse. When you do that optimism thought, then you will be much more a stronger person to live by, not only during your medical school, but throughout your life. That being said, I'd like to thank everyone who is in attendance, both online as well as offline, and see if you have any questions. I'll take 3 questions if you have it quickly. Otherwise, we will call it a wrap and thank everybody for the attendance. Any questions? Yeah, you can switch on to the chat. Any questions? I'll count 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5,
Yeah, Johannes.
4, 3, 2, 1. Time up for online people now. Get away from the screen. Right, for you. You have the mic. You found Jennifer Lopez and got married with her. And then you got the US citizen. Okay? Then if you get US citizen, then you can apply for a job as a faculty member. Everybody's watching this like Jennifer Lopez, lucky guy, huh? So, if you are not a citizen or green card that time, you cannot look for a job. Right? It's really difficult to get into faculties down the lane. But generally over there, the faculties, not only clinicians, but generally they kind of prefer people with research and publications. Because if you don't have research and publications, your value as a clinician will go down. So faculty members needs to be constantly updated over, especially in US, every university has their own separate policies that every year, so and so faculty members, every faculty members has to do this CMEs. So you cannot say, I'm old, I don't know, I'm tired. No, you cannot do that. Okay? All right.
Thank you very much.
For sure. Any questions on the floor?
So
Two of you.
as a resident, isn't it automatically to be?
Where is the sound coming? Oh,
Sorry.
oh,
Dr.
I thought the God is talking to me. I was like, ooh, okay.
Yeah, I'm just continuing Johannes' question. As a resident, isn't it doesn't automatically have green card?
No, we're talking about medical resident.
Yeah, as a medical resident.
No, as a medical resident, you will do residency right now because he is working as he's studying for residency as a J1 or H1B visa.
Oh, different, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Since you are not green card or you're a citizen, even if you get selected for residency, you'll be working as a resident trainee under two kinds of visa. That is like J1 or the H1. Now, when you finish your residency, look for a job, then you can look for a job which sponsors your green card. Or if you find Jennifer Lopez like you lucky, then okay, fine. That too is fine. Okay? All right, then I think I crossed 5 minutes by 1 minute more before Dr. Pratika just says, all right, shut up the mic. I'd like to thank everybody for your time,
Any
both
other question?
online, offline.
Yeah, thank you. Any other question? From the online audience maybe? Mbak Nova, ada pertanyaan dari Zoom?
If you want to type in Indonesian, okay, we have a lot of translators here.
No?
Everybody must have gone. Let me go, otherwise he's going to ask questions.
Okay. Yeah. I think everyone is satisfied. Yeah. What a interesting talks, Dr. Tenzin, and sharing ideas from you. I hope this seminar can be engaging, yeah, all of the audience. Yeah, thank you very much for your presence here. Yeah, thank you. On behalf of the medical faculty of the University of Wijayakusuma Surabaya, I'd like to thank you very much for all the audience and also for the honorable speaker, Dr. Tenzing Jamyang. Thank you. The time I give to the host.
Yes. Now, please allow me to read some announcement for the participants. First, you need to fulfill the evaluation form by following the Google Form link or scanning the barcode on the screen. Please give your full name and title for the e-certificate and provide your feedback on the seminar. You will also receive a follow-up email within 24 up to 48 hours for downloading your seminar certificate. I also remind you that you can contact Kaplan Medical for further information related on today's seminar topic. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Faculty of Medicine Universitas Wijaya Kusuma Surabaya, I would like to thank you for your active participation today. See you on the next occasion. I am Olivia Herliani signing off. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Have a great day. Thank you.